What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with a Toronto Maple Leafs game review. This time it is a loss, the first loss under Sheldon Keefe to the Buffalo Sabres. They lost 6-4 now. This review is pretty late. Usually I post them right after the game. I've been super busy today. I actually missed the first period of this game. I just caught some of the highlights. I've seen the Dermott thing, obviously. I caught up on the one highlight that there was, the Tavares goal, but other than that, I can't talk too much about the first period, but the Leafs get a chance to bounce right back against Buffalo, but this one, I thought that they really should have won this game. There were spots during the game where, everybody on this team looked a little lazy. There were spots where they all looked really good. Like, you see Nylander have a really good back check, but then have a couple bad shifts. You see Matthews back check and then see him have a couple bad shifts. You see just a flurry of giveaways by everybody. And, I see a lot of people getting on Hutchinson. Uh, he's not he's not good enough. Let's just be honest here. I like Hutchinson, but I don't think he's good enough to be the Leafs' backup goaltender. Now, this is something that the Leafs are going to have to look to address very soon because they need to win some games. But I also don't believe all the goals that were allowed tonight were on him. I think there was like two of them that I definitely wouldn't blame him for. But even then, it's like there's just a few shots there that went in that you got to stop. So they're gonna have to deal with that, and people are like freaking out. Oh, the Leafs will never get a backup goalie, guys. Like, the Leafs will find a way to get a backup goalie, and probably a pretty decent one for not too expensive. Like, people are out here saying, "Ha, Dubas capped himself out. He'll never be able to do anything." A couple small moves this Leafs team can make a backup goaltender move. Like, it's not gonna hurt them to have to go and acquire somebody. If it's like a decent prospect to get a decent backup goalie, then you just do it. The Leafs need to get a guy back there that can win some games. People are like, "Oh, you want to get Tristan Jarry from Pittsburgh? Man, that guy, it's going to cost you a first and this, that." It's like, guys, like, what are you talking about? The Leafs aren't going to go after him then. Like, let's get to this game. I'm going to talk about some trade rumors in another video, but Allmark gets the victory, and I didn't think he was very good either. He had some rebound control problems. He is 6-5 on the year. Hutchinson is 0-5. Game-winning goal goes to Jimmy Vesey, the guy who never wanted to play in Buffalo and now is playing in Buffalo. I think that's hilarious. Toronto had 29 shots on goal. Buffalo had 36. So you can see why there's just more pressure on Buffalo's end. But again, you have a chance to rebound and get it right back. I've seen people on Twitter saying that this Leafs season's already over. Guys, if the Leafs go on a 5-game winning streak, they're literally right back in the hunt of things. Like, guys, let's not jump to conclusions here. This team can still make the playoffs. I don't see how this is some like sky is falling thing already. So like I said, Tavares got the first one, assisted by Mikheyev. Then Tavares scored the second one. Excuse me, in the second period, assisted by Kapanen. It was a weird bounce, and then Allmark didn't cover it up. And then they collapsed a little bit because they Buffalo scored like three times, bang, 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 pretty much within like 5-6 minutes, I think it was, or 10. Actually, no, what was it? No, okay, it was actually spread out, but it seemed like they were all at once. But I mean, you get scored on four straight times in one period. It seems like they all come in bunches. But Skinner scored his 10th from Larson and Brandon Montour. Then Eichel scored from Bogosian. Middlestat scored his fourth, which was a really nice tip from Scandella and Jimmy Vesey. And Olofsson scored his 10th from Eichel and Scandella. Eichel had a really good game tonight. In the third period, Timashov got one back from Spezza and Riley. I think that it was a really good pass from Spezza, and Timashov buried it. Then VC scored off a brutal Matthews giveaway, so that one was unassisted. Kapanen got them right back in there with his 8th of the season from Patan and Hall. And then, of course, Jack Eichel scored the empty netter. The Leafs had a couple chances to tie this game. And, of course, Eichels was assisted by Ristolainen. Faceoffs won. They got dominated 34-22. These are some of the stats that I like to look at. Toronto out-hit them 8-6. Again, not a very, physical game. In terms of takeaways, both teams had 4, but Toronto had 6 giveaways. The Sabres had 5. So the giveaway numbers have gone down a little bit, over the past few games. But these giveaways were pretty bad tonight. But I would imagine the Leafs are going to address their backup goalie situation pretty soon. They have to. And I feel bad for Hutchinson because I know that he wanted to come back in and redeem himself, but he just didn't have a good game, and that might be his last start for the Leafs. And again, like I said, a few of these goals, like, you can't even blame Hutchinson. Like, the Leafs just gave up on him on a couple of those goals. And, they had flashes of really bad, shifts, and you just can't have that in the National Hockey League, especially when you're fighting to get back into a spot, a premium spot for the playoffs. There's still tons of games left, and like I said, the sky's not falling, guys. The Leafs are going to be fine. If the Leafs do this, they win, 3 or 4 games in a row and then lose one, then win 3 or 4 games in a row, then lose one. Like they're right there. So let's not jump too much to conclusions here, guys. A lot of teams have been struggling early on. I know some teams have games in hand on the Leafs, but if they lose those games, then it's pretty much right there for anybody. So we'll have to see what happens. But if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. My game day preview for the Leafs versus Buffalo will be up for tomorrow morning's game as well, and I'm hopefully gonna have some other videos scattered in there for you guys as well. So make sure, like I said, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next preview tomorrow morning. Peace.